So if you have been following me on social media this year, then you will know that my go-to device has been the Huawei P20 Pro, and with great looks, great battery life and a great camera, it was definitely going to take some doing to make me go ahead and switch devices. Well, Huawei have just released the Mate 20 Pro, and it looks like I am going to be making the move. What is up guys, it's your boy Ryan here, and I have been using the Mate 20 Pro for around 4 days now, and I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on Huawei's new flagship, so let's get into it. So from the moment I unboxed this handset, I could already see myself wanting to make the switch, and that of course was down to the premium build quality. The curved glass on the front and rear paired with the metal frame and super tactile buttons makes this an absolute pleasure to hold, and for something that you are going to be using all day, probably way too much if you're anything like me, then something that feels great in the hand is definitely something you should consider and is probably overlooked at times. So if you're looking for premium, then this is it. So you know what else is important on a daily basis? Battery life. And with a massive 4200 mAh battery in here, I am sure we are going to have no trouble, and I will be putting this to the test over the coming weeks. The past few days the battery life has been no issue at all, and you could make it probably through 2 days without any trouble, but I want to make sure that I have used the battery to its full potential, put it through a few charge cycles etc, just to make sure that I am giving you an accurate account. Obviously, now that we have a glass build, Huawei has decided finally to give us wireless charging, which I am super happy about. And not only that, we have reverse wireless charging. I know it sounds crazy, but if you go into the menu and enable it, you can go ahead and wirelessly charge another device using your Mate 20 Pro. If you have a friend who has a crappy phone that doesn't last at all, then you can go ahead and give him some juice if you really wish. So if we pair this with the fact that Huawei has included a 40-watt supercharger in the box that can charge that massive battery from 0 to 70% in just 30 minutes, then I'm pretty sure that you are going to have no trouble with your battery life at all on this device. So I'm sure that you're all wondering about that square on the back. So this houses the Mate 20 Pro's 3 cameras, and while we had 3 on the P20 Pro, the arrangement is a little different here. The main camera is still that 40 megapixel shooter with f1.8 aperture, and if you take a look on my Instagram you can see plenty of examples, and the best part about this primary camera is of course night mode. Night mode is absolutely amazing, and if you are in a poorly lit area and need to get a good picture, then just bang this on, and honestly the quality is outstanding. I have even went to using night mode during the day just due to the increased sharpness etc, so definitely worth looking at. The secondary camera is an 8 megapixel f2.4 telephoto that features 3x optical zoom with OIS, and also a 5x hybrid zoom option that combines optical and digital zoom, allowing you to get super close to your subject. And finally, this time round, Huawei has ditched that monochrome sensor for a 20 megapixel ultra wide with an f2.2 aperture, and honestly I am super happy that they have ditched the monochrome lens for the ultra wide, as I was never one for taking black and white photos anyway. Let me know what you think about that down below. Obviously I will be putting the camera to the test over the coming weeks for the full review, so definitely stay tuned for that. But if you want to see this camera go head to head with the Pixel 3 XL, smash the like button and let me know down below, and I will get on that this week. Weather pending, because I live in Scotland and it rains all the time. So looking at the front, if you're not a lover of the notch, then you may be a little disappointed, as we do have one here, but it's super slim, not too obtrusive, and of course Huawei gives you the ability to turn it off while still utilising that screen real estate. Huawei have actually made good use of the notch here, as it houses the 24 megapixel front facing camera with f2.0 aperture, the earpiece and one of the stereo speakers, and also an array of sensors for the face unlock, which is definitely one of my favourite features on the P20 Pro, as it is crazy fast, and obviously as Huawei uses sensors and not just the front facing camera, it is a little bit more secure, so that's always a bonus. So you may be looking at the screen and saying, Ryan, you said this has stereo speakers, where is the other? Well, it's inside the USB-C port, which is kind of weird, but it actually sounds really good. I've been watching plenty of YouTube videos with this and doing lots of gaming, and honestly, No trouble at all, definitely a nice setup here. Okay, so back to the display. What we have here is a 6.39 inch OLED panel that supports HDR and has a Quad HD resolution. It's certainly beautiful with those super thin bezels and curved edges, and after using this for a few days I can say that it's sharp, super bright, and the colours just pop. If you like to game and consume content, then you will be delighted with this display. There's definitely nothing that I can complain about at all. So at this point you may be wondering why we haven't seen a fingerprint scanner yet. Well, Huawei have decided to be one of the first companies to go ahead and stick it under the display. My first impressions are that it's not as fast as the traditional method, but it's certainly the evolution that we have all been waiting for, and I cannot wait to see how this advances. Don't get me wrong, it's not super slow, but definitely not as fast as it used to be. And honestly, I will probably just be using the Face ID to unlock, as it's pretty much instant. So what's it like to use the Mate 20 Pro on the daily? Well, as expected, we have Huawei's EMUI 9.0. That is somewhat cleaner this time round, but you know I'm definitely throwing a launcher on there for sure, as I like that super clean and minimal look. Surprisingly though, Huawei have delivered the Mate 20 Pro with Android Pie, so that's definitely a bonus. Let's just hope those software updates keep on coming. And with the new Kirin 980 and 6GB of RAM, everything feels smooth and buttery, and apps etc load super fast, so there's definitely no worries on that front. Personally, I have never really had a problem with Huawei's devices. I'm definitely not a fan of Emotion UI. I like to go ahead and throw a launcher on there, which is super easy to do, so if you're concerned about that, then there are plenty of launchers out there that you can go ahead and try. So there are a few things about this device that annoy me, like the lack of headphone jack, but they do include an adapter and some USB-C earbuds in the box to soften the blow. But I'm honestly not ready to accept this stupid trend just yet. It's definitely one of the trends that annoy me the most. I really wish that they would just keep the headphone jack. Let me know what you think about that down below. Huawei have also decided to ditch the micro SD card slot for a nano SD card slot, and I can only assume that this is their own proprietary memory. Personally sticking to a standard that we already know, and obviously if you have a previous device are going to make the switch would have been much more favourable, but with a base storage of 128GB, I definitely can't complain. You should have more than enough storage to get what you need first of all. So that pretty much wraps this up. What do you think about the Mate 20 Pro so far? Obviously I have the black model here, but it is available in 5 different colour options, with some of my favourites being the Aurora Gradient that I have on my P20 Pro, and 2 new colours, Midnight Blue and the one I need in my life ASAP, the Emerald Green. The 2 new colours also feature a hyper optical pattern that not only adds grip but reduces those annoying fingerprints, and honestly, if you don't like fingerprints then you are going to put a case on your Mate 20 Pro ASAP, because it is a fingerprint magnet. I really want that emerald green, so let's hope I can get one pretty soon. So as I mentioned, it has only been around 4 days that I have been using this device, so obviously I will need to use it further. My SIM card will be going in it and I will be using this as my daily, but so far I could honestly say that I am definitely making the switch to this. Of course, until some of the other devices that are releasing in October reach my doorstep, then we will see what I am going to go for. So if you guys have any questions, anything you want to see in the full review, any comparisons etc, let me know down below in the comments section. As always, thank you so much for tuning in, stay safe, be kind to each other, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.